It was the early morning of May 2nd, 1992, and my brother Kelton and I had just seen our own mother brutally attack our aunt. It's hard to even find the right words to express how frightened I felt. I was scrambling in the dark, hardly able to keep myself from fainting in fear. Kelton was at my side, stoically silent as he clutched his backpack to his chest and kept my pace to escape Naomi's apartment. Somehow we made it out and into the backyards of the housing project. The quiet eeriness no longer comforting. All around us we could hear the sound of gunfire, sirens, and people shouting. Going out to the streets would be suicide. You also heard helicopters and the sound of air raid sirens. Military were making their way down the streets, likely to use extreme force against the protesters. We needed to find shelter and to find help. We took a few precarious steps forward as the sun came up over the housing project. I got sight of the community center that we had visited only a few days ago and thought of Pastor Kenneth. He had the knowledge and skills to save our mother's soul. Come on, I told my brother as we moved closer to the steps. At first, Kelton fought, wanting instead to go home. He refused to walk towards the community center. This isn't going to help. Nothing is, don't you get that? None of them care about us, Ash, he screamed. I wanted to argue with him, but I was so drained both physically and emotionally. All I could do was squeak a soft rebuttal. We have to try. I finally pulled him into the center, but he rebelled as much as he could. Inside the old building, Kelton slumped in one of the first pews as I searched for Pastor Ken. He squirmed and whined a little, complaining about how much pain he was in from all the running, but I didn't bother listening. I was on a mission to save our mother. I then spotted Miss Lang, nursing a wound as though someone had bashed a bottle against her head, and then recognized a few other people from our community, including Jamal and his gang. Ash, what are you doing here? I thought you went to your aunt's, Jamal said as he kept his weapon to his side. The fact that he was armed didn't frighten me, though. Instead, I was more concerned about what Mom would do when she came here. They were all in danger. Near the back of the church, Ken appeared dressed and ready for early morning prayer service, even though no one was going to come in this war zone. His eyes filled with concern over us as I ran to him. Ash, what are you doing here? The streets are not safe right now, he chided me as he looked at all the others. He was clear they all had come here, their last stand for safety in the chaos that was brewing beyond these walls. Father, please, the devil has taken a hold of our mama, I begged him. I rambled for a few minutes to explain about the Loa and the strange behavior she had exhibited since then. Father Ken looked between me and Kelton and then ushered us towards the back. What you speak of, if it is the truth, is not some ordinary demon. I didn't wait for him to finish. Just those simple words told me what we thought of our experience. You think we made this up? This is a joke to you? I shouted. A few of the other neighbors that were in the chapel heard us, and Father Ken did his best to back up his words. You must understand. I don't mean that at all, it's just that this is very unheard of, he explained. Jamal and his companions moved up to us, intrigued by the fiery interchange of words. Yo, Ash, is Father Ken giving you trouble? Jamal asked. Kelton was holding back tears. You're no different than the rest. I told you, Ashley, I told you, he shouted. Father Ken looked saddened by the words as Jamal and his men surrounded me like a protective shield. Jamal, please. I've known you since you were a young boy. Did I not let you into my home? This is a house of God. Please, he said. Outside we heard the sound of a firebomb, and I shook internally. How long would it be before Mama was here? Please, Father, you have to believe me. The demon could be here any minute, I begged him. My hands were trembling. Ash, you serious? What's going on? Jamal asked. Then we heard that same guttural shriek and froze. It's here. I turned and looked towards the front of the community center where Miss Lang and a few of the other neighbors had huddled and ran to them. Get out of here! Go! She'll kill you! I screamed. They all looked at me in befuddlement, and I turned to Jamal for some help. Our eyes met, and his gaze turned to ice. You heard the girl. Get to the back rooms. Miss Lang and the others obediently fled as we heard the scream get louder. What the hell is that? One of Jamal's boys asked. Jakeem, Devar, Kev, go watch the other exits, Jamal ordered as he turned to me. He pulled his gun out while his eyes focused on the front door. Now tell me what the hell's going on. Father Ken was at my side too. His skeptical demeanor vanished in a heartbeat when he heard the screams, and he said, Put your weapon away, Jamal. You'll do no good against this evil. Yeah, neither will you, Keldon screamed from one of the pews. He was acting like a misbehaved brat, but I was too exhausted to argue with him. I focused on Father Ken and grabbed his shirt, begging again. Isn't there anything that you can do? I asked. He looked uncertain as the noises grew louder and muttered, I am not ordained for a sacrament of exorcism. I do not know if the ritual will work. A man was tossed into the front of the chapel. His abdomen nearly severed as we saw the strange silhouette of my puppeteered mother approach. Well, you need to try something quick, or there's finna be a shootout with this demon, Jamal snapped. I jumped in front of him, shaking my head. No, we can't do that. It's my mother. It's still her inside. I know it. Jamal held his weapon up as Mama came into the vestibule. Her wild look even more inhuman now. She was almost too far gone. This evil creature will kill us all if we don't act, Father Ken said, urging us to the back of the church. Keldon stayed frozen, though, refusing to flee. You're a charlatan? A fraud? You can't help her, Ash! Let Jamal kill her! I hate her! I want it over! He screamed angrily. If it takes one more step, I sure will, little man, Jamal said, keeping his Glock aimed at Mama's heart. Miss Johnson, you've been an idol for all of us for so long, but you take one more step towards these kids, and I'm gonna end you. She contorted her head, looking at me for a moment. I saw a hint of innocence in her eyes. I need my children, she said in the softest voice. Jamal, take them to the storage rooms, the priest urged. Only our faith in God can end this pure evil. Mama took a step forward. I turned to look at her, feeling weak and powerless. Maybe it would be better to just give in, I thought. Then I felt a strong arm snatch me away. Jamal guided me down the pews as he took me and Keldon to where the others were hiding, and I could only catch a glimpse of Mama and Father Ken. He looked as pale as a ghost. Understandable, given he had no idea what he was facing. But immediately he began to attempt the exorcism. Keldon screamed, fighting with Jamal as he shouted, Mama's gonna get hurt! You have to stop him! Soul of Christ, sanctify me, Ken began, as he raised up the cross that was dangling on his neck. Mama lunged forward, spitting forth the same black venom towards him. He kept moving forward, trying his best not to be afraid. Body of Christ, save me. Blood of Christ, inebriate me. I heard Mama make this strange, guttural noise as she lurched and began to spasm. I didn't know for sure what was happening, so I peered out to have a look. She was writhing on the floor, but the sacrament didn't seem to be working. Ken kept trying, reciting more holy words as he prayed to God, his hands trembling as he finished the rites. Water from the side of Christ, wash me. Passion of Christ, strengthen me. Mama was moaning in pain, hardly able to move. Then I heard a noise from behind me. Keldon was shrieking. I turned to him in shock, surprised to see that he ripped from Kev and Damar's hands, trying to stop Ken. No, you cannot do this, my brother yelled. And then I watched as he lunged on Father Kenneth. He scratched at Father Ken's face, pushing the man down as Mama lay frozen on the floor. It took me a minute to register what was happening, and then I looked towards the bag that my brother was carrying with him. The bag he was carrying this whole time. I emptied the bag as quick as possible. My heart dropped when I saw the Loa buried there. He had the evil idol all along. I turned and I watched as Keldon used his bare hands to break Ken's neck. And I heard the sound of his windpipe shattering. That's when I knew. Mama had been the puppet on a string. The real demon was right in front of me. Keldon turned to look at me and began convulsing exactly like Mama did earlier. He kept hacking away until he finally froze and tilted his head back. What came out this time wasn't snakeskin. He was a massive serpent, a python. It was bigger than Keldon himself, and it started moving quickly towards Jamal and his boys. They opened fire on the serpent, but it did nothing. Keldon turned to me and smiled. Hey there kids, it's me, MrCreepyPasta, and I just wanted to tell you thank you so much for watching tonight's video. Or listening to tonight's podcast on the podcast, if you're listening to that there at Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts or wherever you could happen to listen to podcasts. Also, I just want to take a quick second to tell you guys about HorrorConVR. HorrorConVR is actually a horror convention that I'm putting together with a group of my friends who are YouTube horror creators and other horror creators and just sometimes VR chat creators and things like that. You can find out more at HorrorConVR.com or follow us on Twitter at horror_VR. It's going to be hosted on VR chat in October, and the best part is you do not need a VR headset to be able to join and play. So check out those places, join us on Discord, and we do meetups every Saturday, which is fun. And of course, I wanted to give a big thank you to everyone who checks out patreon.com/MrCreepyPasta and supports the show, keeps the light on, gives me treats for my now 2 cats, both Hylas and Hercules. Both of them are a handful. And especially a big thank you to Saha, Jordan Alexander Sanchez, Mazikeen, Ken Lando Higuchi, Chompski, Nico kaeo, Tristain Pelton, Stephen VanHuss, Chance Burnett, Diana Kraus, G. Weevil 3, TheRedOakShieldVirus, Hades' Nephew, Carter Barenfanger, Dr. Strawberry, Jordan Wayne Deckard, Bradney Leipe, The Government Monitoring System, Anne Charron, rumblefox, AcidSystem, Mike Bullock, Raphael Rodriguez, Dan Sweet, Mad Marshtomp, Prozac and Pancake Appreciation Society, Sean Mills, Brian Arce, Cryptic Nightmares, Shadow Morningstar, Somber Puppet, Brianna Wright, Someone You Love, Said the King 56, Bad Honey, S-Man, Kiri the Sloth, Patrick Schoolmeister, Thomas Burgett, Barbara Maceo, Bobby Carmen, Liam Newman, The Homeless Bird 93, Sky Harbor, Caleb Dougal, Last Blade Song, Eliminator 86, The Ginger Bros, Aaron Stormcrow, and Corey X Kenshin. A big thank you to all of you guys and everybody down there in the description. I really can't thank you guys enough for supporting the show. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And everybody who listens, sweet dreams.